Hey guys, so a few weeks ago I was trying to figure out what I should do for a vlog, and Steve from Just Steve's channel recommended that I do a video about the lighter side of conscription. For those of you who don't know, Israel has a conscription period of about 3 years for guys and 2 for girls when you hit the age of 18. You can either serve in the military or do national service. I served in an artillery corps unit that did rocket artillery. While many people think that serving in the army can be a drag, it actually is, but not always that bad. There are actual times where you might be having fun and even a good laugh. And this video is a few of those times. So the first story is from when I was in Commander's Course, about 9 months into my service. Commander's Course for me was about 4 months of pure misery, and even then we still had some fun times. One of those times was when some of us staged a ninja fight to some music that was playing. The reason I found this whole thing so funny was that towards the end, we noticed that our commanders were looking through the window and everyone just suddenly stopped and tried acting naturally. After basic training, I was separated from my battery and placed in another battery while everyone else continued on to advanced training. I'm not really sure why I was placed in the other battery, but anyhow, about a week or so after I moved, they were having a social evening. I was new to the battery and I was also a relatively new recruit, so I didn't really know anyone, and there's this whole seniority thing where soldiers who've been in the army longer than you, even if they're the same rank, are kind of above you, and so I was worried about hanging out with them. It turns out they were all pretty nice people, and I was challenged by one of the commanders to do one of the activities that they were doing, milk chugging. He was also way more senior than I was in the army, so that's double seniority. So I agree, because I really didn't think I had much of a choice, and I might as well play along since these guys were pretty nice anyway. So let me describe this commander to you. He's about head taller than I am, and I'm about 6 feet tall, or 183 centimeters, and he is about twice as wide as I am. For the challenge, we were each given a 2-liter jug of whole milk, and they started to count us down. Once they told us to go, I chugged that milk like I never chugged anything before, and surprisingly, I won. Luckily, right next to me was a large garbage bin, because immediately afterwards, I started puking all of those 2 liters of milk out. For a good month or so, I was heralded for my accomplishment. The last story I have is actually not a story that happened to me, but to a good friend of mine who served in the army with my wife Ariella, and they were both officers in the same unit. So one day, he's in his office, just minding his own business, eating a popsicle, when one of his superior officers walks by his office and then backtracks into it. I have to mention that this officer was a very high-ranking officer. She was a colonel, and that means that she was his boss's boss's boss. And while they knew each other, they really didn't have much of a relationship. She was kind of distant from the lower-ranking officers or the soldiers, as it was. Anyways, after she walks up to him, she asks him if he has any more, to which he says, "Yeah, we have a whole bunch. You can have one too." She then looks at him, looks at the popsicle, and says something kind of like, "So, I guess you won't mind if I just..." and snatches the popsicle away and kind of runs off. This whole time, my friend kind of is not really sure what's going on and he's just standing there dumbfounded. What's even more funny is that another soldier, a few weeks later, was wondering if anyone had a popsicle, and this colonel bursts out of her office holding a half-eaten popsicle saying, "I have one, you could take it, here, I'm never gonna finish it, just finish my popsicle." I think she might have a weird thing with popsicles. So basically, being in the army is just like being in any other type of job, kinda. You interact with new people, you create social bonds, you crawl through the mud with people, and you eat in mess halls that are so hot you literally sweat into your food. But that's a story for another time. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you didn't, you can always blame Steve. Just kidding. You really know you're behind on your weekly video schedule when Nyla uploads 2 before you upload 1. Also, in 2 weeks from now, on June 4th, I'm going to be celebrating my 10th year anniversary on YouTube. So let me know in the comments what I should do, because I really have no idea. And until next time,